Hello everybody, welcome to my first official video of 2025. I thought it would be fun if we kind of walk through every book I read on spring break. My spring break was March 13th through April 1st, so I had a large chunk of time, but I noticed that I read a lot of my books in that first week because I was still actively working my job, but I figured I'd walk you down the list and kind of tell you each book I read and give you kind of my star rating on it. I thought that would be fun. The first book I finished was The Fury by Alex Michaelides. He previously wrote The Silent Patient, which for me that was one of my favorite books that really got me into reading. So I was super excited for this one, and The Fury had been on my TBR since I think the beginning of this year. So I kind of started listening to it on Spotify at work, and then my Spotify listening time ran out and I had to switch to Libby. For me personally, I thought the book itself started off a little slow, but once you kind of like understood the plot and the plot kind of made more sense, like the story itself kind of picked up. So, I mean, I ended up really enjoying it, but not as much as I genuinely thought I would, kind of in comparison to The Silent Patient. So this ended up being a 4-star read, and I finished it on March 18th. The second book I read was another audiobook, and it was Green Fuse Burning by Tiffany Morris. This book took me literally a shift to listen to, so like 4 hours. I finished this book the same day I started it and rated it 5 stars. It was kind of like sapphic, cute, but also like thrilling and like scary, and I kind of ate up the plot, but what have you. My third and fourth book I ended up reading and finishing on the same day, and they were both 5-star reads. I read St. Catherine by Anna Meyer, which this was a NetGalley Arc read that I was approved to read, and then I finished Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. As I previously mentioned, both of these were 5-star reads, and I finished books 3 and 4 on March 20th. The fifth book I ended up reading was another Arc read, but this one was the author had reached out to me via email. I had worked with him before. So I ended up reading The Carlson Girls by R.S. Penny. He writes more like sci-fi books with like a hint of like mystery in the plot, and that's really why I ate it up so well. I finished this book March 23rd and rated it 5 stars. Then, after that first week, I kind of went rogue with my reading. Like, I was reading, but not books. It was more so fan fiction, and that was kind of like, we lost the plot. We lost the plot here. So, by March 21st, I started reading another arc, and I had a slow start with it. The arc in question was Muted Volume 1 by Miranda Mundit. I probably butchered her last name, I'm so sorry. While I'm filming this, I actually got approved to read Muted Volume 2 by the same author on NetGalley, so I'm super excited because I ate up Muted Volume 1. So good. Like, okay. And then I was also reading, at this point in time, The Thrashers by Julie Soto, and I started reading The Thrashers on March 25th. Like I mentioned, I was very much so slowing down with my like reading patterns, which is super embarrassing, but I will go through like super highs and then super lows. Why am I using that like that? And I think during spring break, that's kind of when I like lost the plot, or at least the second week, because like I said, the first week I was actively working my job, and then the second week I just threw caution to the wind and was doing whatever I wanted to do with my week off. So, do with that what you may. I also read a handful of adult comic books, if you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to insert any clips of them. I'm not going to show you the covers of them. But book 6 was Small Favors by Colleen Coover. Book 7 was Big Cats by Fondue. And then book 8 was Libby and Holly by Winton Kidd. And then that was like chapters 1 through 3, I want to say. March 29th, I finished book number 9, which would be Muted Volume 1. This, for me, was a 4-star read. And then, well, at the same point, I was about 31% done with the Thrashers, and I really wanted to finish the Thrashers because this is an unread NetGalley. Essentially, you get a proof from the books, you have to write reviews, and it tanks your ranking on NetGalley, and then you get like less than approved from the books based on how many feedbacks you have given. So getting this feedback from me, big one, okay? But while reading the Thrashers, I started Synth and Sparrow by Brian Weaver, which is the 3rd book in the, like, ooh, I'm gonna choke out. I'm not saying that. You know the series. You know, like, it's the 3rd book in the Butcher and Blackbird series. Okay? The Thrashers and Synth and Sparrow were definitely in competition on which one was getting finished first because I was reading the Thrashers on my Kindle, Synth and Sparrow, like a physical paper book, and like I just wasn't reaching from either one of them. Like I said, it lost the plot. It was a lot of fanfiction. Hand on the Bible, my bad. Right, so at this point, Saturday, I was tweaking, right? Because my last day of spring break was literally March 31st at 11:59. Like, yeah, my first day of this quarter was April 1st. First day back at work, first day back in the saddle, so I needed to finish at least one of these books, okay? I ended up finishing book number 10, The Thrashers by Julie Soto. At this point, it was Sunday morning. I was burning through daylight and time, right? And I rated the Thrashers 5-star read. I ate that up. I was thrilled. I was enthralled. I was on the edge of my seat, if I'm gonna be honest. I have never read a Julie Soto book before, and this one ate, okay? I was jaw-dropped. But like I said, I was burning daylight, so right after I finished the Thrashers, I immediately started, like, getting my shit together and reading Synth and Sparrow by Brian Weaver. On Sunday, first day of reading it, I read about 37 pages. Not fantastic, considering this book has like 500 pages. That could be an over-exaggeration. That's just what I'm assuming based off how it looks, okay? But I knew I needed to at least get something done in this book because I knew as soon as I started going back to work, I started going back to school, it was going to sit on my nightstand and collect dust, okay? Monday, my last day of spring break, I ended up reading 100 pages of Synth and Sparrow to conclude my spring break reading log. I read about 10 and like a quarter books, okay? Because I did not get halfway through Synth and Sparrow. Sorry, I hate to say it, okay? And that, besties, is my spring break reading log of everything I read and what I rated it on my Goodreads. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you soon with a video essay, actually, and I'm super excited, so